Trump tells us to drink bleach. Was fish tank cleaner guy murdered? And is Kim Jong-Un dead? And if not, why not? All that coming up next on the BS Podcast.
You're listening to the BS Podcast, where we cover all of the bull in the news and more. Now, welcome your hosts, Dave and Zach.
Hello and welcome to the BS Podcast, where today we're talking the top 10 most absurd, most ridiculous, and bullshittiest stories of the past few days. I am Dave, and joining me is my fellow connoisseur in bullshit, Mr. Zach. How are you, buddy?
Good, man. How you been?
I've been doing very well. Not a ton of complaints here, although the wife is starting to come down with something, and now I'm getting a little worried for her and just hoping
Oh, shit.
Just maybe being tired and run down and not coming down with this awful thing is now, because things look like as we stand here at the time of recording at the end of April that some places are going to start actually opening back up again, which just seemed unthinkable just a little while ago.
Oh, I know. You got a shed out back you can keep her in or something like that, just to kind of quarantine her from the quarantine.
It's so funny because she's working from home and she's up in the second bedroom, and I went up to her and I said, if worst comes to worst, this is where you're going to be for the next.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that commercial. What was it? That insurance commercial with Cheryl's she shed. You need to get a she shed for her. That'll be like her quarantine situation.
Well, I mean, the reality is there is no. I mean, if one of us gets it, the other one's getting it.
Oh, I know.
So, you know?
That's why, I'm out, taking walks with my wife. We're walking our dog, and everyone's looking at us weird. Why are you guys so close together? I'm like, we live in the same fucking house. There's no way we can social distance. So what I mean. I'm not going to say 6 feet apart from my wife. Come on now.
No. Well, depending on how the day is going, but yeah, I mean, I think this is a team effort. If you're get sick. Have you? Before we get, let me run down the topic, Zach. We've got, as you mentioned at the top here, Trump tells Americans to inject themselves with Lysol. We'll go over the president's comments and try to decipher to the best of our ability what exactly the president said or what he maybe have meant. We'll get through that. And then YouTube killed our channel. Now we're here now, but we weren't here just a couple of days ago. We'll go over that. And that's some absolute bullshit. More proof that the pandemic is making us crazy. Got some details on that. An investigative reporter finds U.S. COVID-19 patient 0. We will look into that. Then we get California beaches opening to very little outrage compared to what we saw the week before. We've got, was fish tank cleaner guy murdered? We're going to do a deep dive into that. More fear mongering around COVID-19. Park goers will not be denied. This is a hilarious story. And we get an extreme method of getting the day off. This guy was not smart. And of course, is Kim Jong-Un dead? we will go over some of the theories surrounding the I want to call it disappearance, but the North Korean leader, I guess, kind of going dark and out of the public eye. So we will definitely get into that. Zach, before we get into it, do you have any personal hyperlocal bullshit you want to get off your chest?
I've had about 5 concerts that I've had tickets to this year be canceled. And I think yesterday we just got notification that the Foo Fighters doing their big 4th of July festival was canceled. So that's been the most recent bullshit going on in my life, which sucks. I mean, it's necessary bullshit, but still bullshit nonetheless.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the thing, because I think a concert might be maybe the worst place. At least it's outdoors, but it's about as bad as it would get for something. In all of the phases of Trump or anyone's plan, concerts are going to be the last phase.
Because if you ever been to a concert, I don't think you're within a foot of someone else. I mean, I don't think you're more than a foot away. So there's no way you can stay 6 feet away from someone at a concert.
No, I think maybe just thinking off the top of my head, like a nightclub is probably maybe a little worse because people are bumping and grinding more than a concert. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty bad. People close up, packed, coughing, sneezing, sharing drinks, making out, all that stuff.
So yeah, that's my most recent bullshit. What about you?
Not too bad, really. It's just the wife getting sick and, just kind of worried about that for her. And not a whole bunch of stuff. I'm doing well. I've been a happy camper for the past 2 weeks. I don't have a lot of gripes.
It's been a pretty damn tame week. Not knock on wood. I mean, things have been pretty decent. Maybe it's just that we're all starting to get used to this situation of us all being locked down in the house with nowhere else to go. And now that once we're like, you know what, this actually isn't that bad. Now it's now we have nothing to complain about anymore.
Yeah, I'm feeling that too. It was a rough adjustment. And then, of course, then it's going to be an adjustment back to normal, whatever that is. But with the exception of a couple of things, and I think we mentioned, I think it might have been last show, which is, being the little things like maybe being able to go out to eat or like go to a certain kind of like one of your favorite spots or whatever. That I still miss that, and I'm not going to get over that. But in general, it hasn't really been that terrible.
Yeah. I was, I think it was like over the weekend or something. I was like moping around, just, first world problems, just being an ass. And I was on Facebook. And I saw a meme where it was like Anne Frank's hid in an attic for like hundreds of days or whatever it was with nothing to escape the Nazis. And it was like, you're going to be okay stuck in your house with your Netflix and internet. I'm like, yeah, now I feel like a dick. So
yeah, I couldn't go on the swing set in my park. That's really bad. All right, Zach, do you want to get into this? I get into these Trump comments because I don't know how you first came across this, but it's usually for me when I find these things, it's something trending on Twitter that makes no sense. And and I don't know if you like to use Twitter as much as I do, but one of the things I hate about it was there could be something trending, and you'd have no idea why the thing is trending. It's just people talking about the thing that's trending, and I'm like, well, someone give me some context.
Yeah.
And it was basically Drink Bleach, Clorox president. I don't know what. All this stuff that didn't make any goddamn sense. What was your first sniffing of this craziness that was going around? I believe this was Thursday.
Yeah, I'm not sure when this whole thing broke out, when Trump's presser was, when he talked about that, but he, I first heard about it and it was just kind of like, yeah, it seems like something he would say. You know what I mean? Just trying to think of anything to try. It's almost like just a stream of consciousness with him. You know what I mean? Like in his head, well, maybe we could drink bleach. No, but before he gets a chance to say no, that's a dumb idea, it's already out of his mouth and out in the open. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, well, that's something I would believe he would say.
Yeah. So without further speculating, maybe we'll just let the man speak for himself, and we'll see.
Yeah, let's do it.
See what we can figure out here. Now, this was just to set this up. This was this comes from April 23rd. This comes from the White House's own YouTube page, so I think we're fine to use this here. Members of the coronavirus task force hold a briefing. Now, I was watching. I hadn't seen this. I saw the clip clearly, and now preparing to get going, I pulled up the full briefing, and just before the context here, just before the president gets up to speak, and there was another member of his task force who was kind of talking about what Trump began to riff about, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Certain therapies, certain things. He was saying how, and I'm sure you've heard this, and good news for all of us. One of the topics we talked about, Zach, was as we're getting closer to the summer months, the sun has a real, I guess, radiative ability to just kind of zap the virus. And so it was some comparison of like 75 degrees like without sun and 75 degrees with sun. And the life of the virus was like, I don't know, 12 hours versus like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's not. I mean, that's my best I can set this up.
Yeah.
This absolute shit show that's coming.
Okay.
So let me pull this up.
So I asked Bill a question that probably some of you are thinking of if you're totally into that world, which I find to be very interesting. So supposing we hit the body with a tremendous, whether it's ultraviolet or just very powerful light, and I think you said that hasn't been checked, but you're going to test it. And then I said, supposing you brought the light inside the body, which you can do either through the skin or in some other way. And I think you said you're going to test that too. Sounds interesting. Right, and then I see the disinfectant, where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside or almost a cleaning? Because you see it gets on the lungs and it does a tremendous number of the lungs. So it'd be interesting to check that. So that you're going to have to use medical doctors with. But it sounds interesting to me. So we'll see. But the whole concept of the light, the way it kills it in 1 minute, That's pretty powerful.
Okay, so those are the comments.
He said that sounds interesting to me.
So we're gonna bring in the light, and we're gonna put the light inside the body.
Does he understand how light works?
I like how he's looking at the guy like, what do you think we're gonna do? We'll try that.
Yeah.
Right? The guy's like, what the fuck? I don't know what you're talking about.
We're gonna do that, right? He's just standing like,
yeah, we'll try that.
yeah. I guess so. We'll inject light into someone's body. That sounds like it'll work 100%.
I don't know what that means. So.
Yeah, right. Does he understand how light works? It doesn't.
Maybe there's like a light capsule that you could swallow, and then once it dissolves, it'll shine inside of you. How about that? Maybe we could test that, right?
Like millions of little tiny LED lights spattered like that go through your. But when you eat something, it goes into your digestive tract, not your lungs. So what is he?
Well, what do you think, expert guy? It's something we can try, right? Sure, Mr. President.
We're going to breathe in the UVs.
and then the worst of it. Okay, so we're gonna test the light inside the body theory. Oh, I guess. I mean, this is clearly off the cuff comments here, as you were saying earlier. He's riffing off the guy coming before him, just talking nonsense essentially.
Yeah.
And then there's this thing with. Okay, so you're going to test the light, and then there's also a thing where you can. I love the gesture he does. You could bring in the disinfectant or whatever he does with his hand. What does that mean? He's like, well, you could do a cleaning with the disinfectant, and then you maybe possibly injecting it, with a doctor or something. I don't know what. I mean, what is he saying? Is he literally saying? Here's the question. Is he literally just saying nonsense off the top of his head?
Oh, yeah, he is. It's a stream. I think it's a stream of consciousness, and he's just like, all these shitty ideas are coming to his brain, and he doesn't have a filter between his brain and his mouth. So they're just coming out before he has a chance to think. That's stupid. Don't say that. And he's so stubborn that once it comes out of his mouth, he's like, well, I'm not going to go back on myself.
He's going to double down.
Yeah, I'm going to stand. I'm going to, that came out of my mouth, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. You know what I mean?
Well, is it possible, Zach, that is it possible? Well, he's clearly doing that, but is it possible that he knows of like experimental treatments in his mind, and he's sort of like jumbling it all together, where he maybe heard of some way of this? I mean, disinfect. He wasn't talking Lysol, right? I mean, he clearly has something else on his mind, whether it exists or if it's going to work. He's not saying.
Maybe he forgot the word for antibiotic and just said disinfectant.
He said the wrong thing. And then, so on Twitter, you get drink bleach, inject Lysol, some combination thereof, Drano maybe. You're
going to get like the first time ever, you're going to get like middle-aged white suburban like moms down in like the inner city talking to heroin addicts, trying to like figure out how to use a syringe. You know what I mean?
I need to inject my bowl cleaner into my between my toes.
Got track marks all up down their arms. Like, man, you need to quit that heroin. Like, actually, friend, it is bleach.
So the president deserves the flack he got. I don't know. I mean, right? Well, you'd agree with that, right? I mean, he deserves some flack and criticism for whatever the hell he was trying to say.
Oh yeah.
But you also agree, though, he wasn't saying anything near drink bleach, inject Lysol. Also, right? On the other hand.
No, I don't think he was. He never said the words drink bleach or inject yourself with Lysol, but it's just the way that people are, interpreting what he's saying.
Right. So, yeah. And then in searching this, because I'm like, light inside the body thing, there is some company trying to do something here. I sent you this link it's an op-ed from the Wall Street Journal. An experimental ultraviolet light treatment for COVID-19 takes political heat. And there's some company here where I guess they're going to try to, I don't know, they put some tube in your trachea and turn the light on. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to say Trump even knows about this either, or this was even what he was referring to. But
so they're giving you sunburn inside your lungs. That doesn't sound painful at all. I mean, it hurts enough getting sunburn on your skin, getting it inside your body.
This doesn't seem like this is going to work.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but I'm not putting my chips behind the UV inside my lungs therapy.
Oh, just bizarre. All right, I don't have any more on the Trump comments, but did you have anything there you wanted to hit on before?
No, I think that's it for that guy.
Okay. Well, maybe this is just Trump comments once a week. We just go over what he says.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of. This was like
we'll have an endless supply.
All right. So in the realm, when we're talking about personal BS, one of the things that is a topic for the show, but also was personal BS, was that we were going up to, you were doing something on our YouTube channel and it didn't exist.
Yeah, we're trying to break a certain number of followers on YouTube and subscribers. So shout out and thank you to everyone that has subscribed. We're close to our goal. So if you haven't yet subscribed, but anyway, Friday afternoon, it was like 4:30ish, and I was like, all right, let me see where we're at. And I went to log on and I was signed out. I'm like, what the hell? So I logged back in and I got that notification, that red flash, you have been permanently disabled. No warning, no nothing. Wow. You have been permanently banned. What the fuck? What do we do? That was so bad, and so we appealed it and we were back on by Saturday morning. They tried to hold us down, Dave, but they didn't succeed.
Yeah, well, here we are fighting big tech, the tech monopolies. Just a couple of guys here trying to do a show. What did they tell us? What was the reason for the channel without warning, without a strike, because I know they have a 3-strike policy. Well, forget that. Let's just kill the channel. What was the reason they gave?
They didn't give any kind of specifics. It was something about you violated our spam policy.
Yeah. And if you go and look at their policies, this really makes a lot of sense. Some of the violations they have are misleading metadata or thumbnails, using a description to trick users into believing the content is something that it's not. This is something that we do all the time.
Yeah,
it's so stupid. Scams, get rich quick schemes. We do a lot of that. We don't sell a product. We don't do any of that.
Whoever's reviewing our account's going to be sitting there watching this episode just shaking his head like, you fucking assholes.
Voter suppression, have we dabbled in that yet?
No.
Suppression of census participation, nothing there. Candidate eligibility, things like say the voting day is November 3rd and you tell everybody to go out and vote November 10th. Stuff like that.
Everybody, don't make sure you vote on the right day. There, we're protected from that one.
Yeah, repetitive comments spam, incentivized spam. So if you spam for me, I'll like your channel or something. Yeah. There's clearly none of that going on. I mean, There's really nothing even remotely close here. I think
when people comment, I say thanks for the comment, friend, and maybe talk back to them. Maybe that's what we got flagged for. Maybe they thought we were incentivizing spam that way. I don't know, but.
Clear violation of spam policies there. So.
I had a blast writing that appeal, by the way.
I could imagine.
I went into my inner patriot, says our First Amendment right as Americans.
See, we mocked those guys on the street with the MAGA hats, and everything.
Oh, I did. I went full blown conservative on that one.
My right as an American to have my YouTube channel.
Full blown libertarian, and
yeah. But thankfully we are back. But the worry is for me, because I knew we did nothing wrong. But the worry is that it doesn't matter because it's ultimately up to a person and whether or not they care. And it's YouTube, and there's no fighting YouTube.
There isn't. They flat out said, you got to appeal, but they could throw the appeal away. They don't have to do anything. You know what I mean? It's not like there's a review process. And they didn't even say exactly what it was for. So it was just your appeal is just a shot in the dark. I have no idea why you disabled us in the first place. Yeah. But, here's why I think you made a mistake. No,
that's exactly right. Because you're essentially wrongly accused. So then the system is already rigged against me. So I have no faith that it will be better. But thankfully, I think it was just some jackass that flagged us for no reason. That's kind of what I think it was.
Yeah. Someone got offended at something we said. And, like you said, we got flagged. It happens all the time. I know there's a guy I used to work with who has a podcast called Punk Rock Libertarians, and he's in Facebook jail. I think every month. It seems like every month he's
really?
in Facebook jail. Yeah, you know what I mean? These big companies, it's just the censorship on these big companies is ridiculous. You know what I mean? It's like they start these social sites as a way for people to connect and, use their freedom of speech. And then it's like, you say one little thing to piss someone off and it's like you are shut down, and it sucks.
That's what it seems like. But, we're just a couple of guys having a good time, having a laugh at the stupid
we're not saying anything that bad. I've seen a lot crazier shit on YouTube.
Yeah, we're going to get to that in just a minute.
We are going to get to that. I mean, the guy we're going to talk about in a couple stories, like that's a YouTube that needs to be, shut down for spreading bullshit.
Yeah, so let's before we get to that, let's hit this story, one that you found about more proof that the pandemic is making us crazy. And one of the examples you get is a story from NBC News about people are having really, really weird dreams. You said you were having some of this.
Oh yeah, weird dreams, man.
What's the weirdest one you've had?
So, okay, I'm gonna say it, and I hope my wife's not watching this episode, but. I had a dream about me and her trying to have a child, and it wasn't working. So she got impregnated by somebody else.
Ooh.
That was my dream. It was the weirdest thing, man. I woke up and I'm like, what is going on here? You know what I mean? Like it's weird.
That's a shot to the gut.
Yeah.
That's a bad dream. About 2 weeks ago, I was having really weird dreams. I don't really remember them. Actually, it's good that I don't remember them because if I could have had the same one you had, and I don't want to remember that. But I remember having a hard time. I wasn't sleeping well and I still really haven't been sleeping well over the last couple of weeks, if I'm being honest now. I've been having a hard time getting restful sleep and just waking up in the middle of the night, sometimes sweating, sometimes cold. What do you think is going on here? You think it's just the stress of everything, like finding its way out while we sleep?
I don't know. Maybe it's just being stuck in the house. There's no shut off between, work and where your living situation is. You know what I mean? I don't know what it is, man, but it's been bad the last few weeks for me.
Yeah.
I've also been reading this book that's like a mind fuck. So it's like I've been thinking about that at night. I read at night before I go to bed. So I've been reading that book, and now I'm like, I sit and lay in bed for a half an hour thinking about the plot, and then I go down a rabbit hole, and then I start dreaming about it. So it's, it's nuts.
Yeah, you got to be careful. I've noticed that too, depending on whatever your entertainment is. It could just even be something on TV before you go to bed. That's why I usually, before I fall asleep, I put on like a sitcom or something, just so it's something like The Office or Seinfeld or whatever. Yeah. So it's a safe place. I can fall asleep without.
You fall asleep and dream like Newman busting into your house or something.
Exactly. There's nothing really to fear there. Some of the examples given in the story was nighttime visions of bugs, natural disasters, difficulty breathing. That makes sense. Mm-hmm. There's another one there. They said it's a strange one. A lot of people are having dreams about hands. They fall off. The skin comes off them. They don't work. It's a vision with a simple explanation. We're afraid to touch anything. If you touch something, you could kill someone. That makes sense. But with all the glove stuff, all the that is like, I would say that's a manifestation. Yeah. What other kind of nightmares? Maybe you're in like a room and everyone's sneezing on you. That could be one.
Oh God, that sounds awful. Where like there's a giant nose that's like a nose the size of a human being.
That's hilarious.
You're shrunken, like circus music, like Pee Wee Herman's like Big Adventure. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So yeah, and then the big nose sneezes, and then like the virus, instead of it being microscopic, it's like bigger than you.
Yeah.
Coming after you.
You get sucked into COVID-19.
Horrible. All right, I've had enough of that. You want to get into there's this what I titled it. Investigative reporter claims he found U.S. patient COVID zero. That's not what happened. This poor woman. Here's a story from New York Post. Conspiracy theorists falsely accused Army reservist of starting coronavirus. So here's this woman. She's an Army reservist. She's a cyclist, and her name is Mache Benassi. She's a member of the military, and her husband's retired Air Force. She was doing some cycling competition in Wuhan, China, got injured, and then came back. And this guy, George Webb, I don't even want to say his name, that I did, who's on YouTube, conspiracy theorist, calls himself an investigative journalist. That's the joke there. Basically calls her patient zero and just has been doing these crazy viral videos accusing her of being the person who brought the virus from Wuhan to the United States and infected all of us. So it's all her fault. And there's no evidence for any of this.
Yeah, no, there's no evidence for any of it. And you feel bad for this woman, but I also want to know, like, if you read the article, he also, outed Benny Benassi, the Italian DJ, as being part of this whole conspiracy theme. And like, where the hell does he fit into it? You know what I mean? Like, it says that they aren't related.
Just the same last name. Anybody with
just
the
the same
Benassi.
last name. So what did he do? Just like look for the name Benassi and saw like, oh man, this is that guy that made that banger Satisfaction back in the day. I bet he's part of it too. Like, where does this come from? And then he saw he was Italian, and he was like, that's like the nail on the head right there.
Oh yeah, all Italians are suspicious.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's right. Because so I see. This is how it works. You connect the dots. So there was a big outbreak in Italy. And I think that was the first to hit Europe was in Italy. So he's Italian. She was in Wuhan. Same last name. Well, there you go.
Yeah. God, I feel so bad for this woman. I mean, this guy is like ruining this family's life. Her and her husband. It's bullshit, man. Like this woman's got to fear for her life.
Yeah, getting death threats.
It's awful, man.
It says these YouTube videos here. This guy's got 100,000 followers and more than 27 million views. And here we are talking about YouTube nuking our little channel that we're trying to build here, trying to do something entertaining and fun and not mislead people, not have targeted harassment, not have people get death threats, not accuse them of bringing the pandemic to our country. And they shut us down. And this guy's got a channel. Now, I don't want censorship, but something here seems a little off.
Yeah. Well, here it says that Webb, he actually has videos that are removed, and he said he often re-uploads. He's having to constantly re-upload videos to the platform. So why don't they just ban his channel?
Yeah,
we never got any warnings like that.
No,
we're not.
Yeah, they didn't remove say if there was some offending video, they didn't remove it and let us know. They just killed the channel.
Yeah,
I just find this absurd. Now I know it would be useful to. I don't know if they found patient 0. I don't know that they have, right? So otherwise we would have, clearly we would have identified that person, and we don't know who it was. And it might be useful it's not their fault.
No,
it's just to learn about the virus or something. But if you go and there was some, there was a video version of this story where they're still highlighting some of the comments in these videos, basically saying, kill her family. I mean, this is crazy.
Yeah. Even if she was patient 0, she should be murdered because she caught a disease.
Right, she didn't do it intentionally.
You know what I mean?
That's not her fault. So, yeah. The funny thing is, I never heard of Wuhan until this thing. Did you?
Hell no.
I even knew about it. So basically she was there, and then Italy, DJ, same last name, gotta be the same thing.
Gotta be connected.
Okay.
So if your last name is Benassi, watch out as well. Yeah.
Unreal. Absolutely unreal. Completely irresponsible. And this guy was confronted, and he's just like, well, I got sources. I can't really tell about my sources, and I'm an investigative journalist, and I'm speculating or whatever. It doesn't sound like speculating. It sounds like trying to convince a whole bunch of people, get them all riled up about some awful thing that's happening. Speaking of conspiracy theories, have you heard this thing about 5G and the coronavirus?
I haven't actually seen where it's coming from, but I've mostly seen memes about it. Someone put up like the Tower of Sauron from from Lord of the Rings, and was like, they just built this 5G tower next to my house.
No,
like Mount Doom and shit.
I don't know anything. I haven't gotten into this, so I can't say really what the details are and how to. I'm not saying anything about it. I'm just saying I've heard this, and I don't. I mean, there could be. I don't know. There could be health issues with 5G. I have no idea, but I don't think it's connecting the 5G towers to the coronavirus. I don't know. I'm not. That's another weird one. I don't really quite understand it. Maybe I need to be educated.
Yeah, I don't understand it either. But just speculation. If they said 5G was like dangerous in any way, I would assume maybe like the radio waves would give you like, I don't know, like cancer. If someone said like 5G would give you cancer from the radio waves, that's more believable than it would give you an infection. In your lungs.
Well, maybe it's okay. So maybe they're saying it's not really even an infection. You're actually getting, it's like a radiation, and they're calling it, it's a quote unquote virus, and you're getting sick from the tower. I don't know. Why am I bothering to?
I don't know. That sounds like bullshit to me. So that's
all right, Zach. Let's move on. Newport Beach in California opens to massive crowds with very little outrage. Now, the week before that, the Jacksonville Beach is open, and number one on Twitter was hashtag Florida Morons. And it really wasn't even that bad. It was just a few people walking on the beach. It seemed like they were keeping their distance. There was a lot of people, but they seemed to be spaced out. Now, you look at some of these, pull up these pictures. This one comes from Getty Images. This thing is absolutely packed. You got umbrellas, chairs, people all near each other. Just like, looks like there's a couple of thousand people on this beach. I didn't really I heard a little bit, but nothing on the level of what you heard in Florida. Why is that?
No. Yeah, I don't know. It's surprising to me, especially considering, California being as liberal of a state as it is. You know what I mean? It seems like it's just surprising to me that where they're that whole demographic is the one making the stink of places reopening. You know what I mean? It's like the pot calling the kettle black at that point.
Yeah, I mean, unless the Newport Beach area is a more conservative area of California, I don't know, but even still, you're a moron one way or another. So they look like there's more morons here. Because at least in Florida, they said you can't bring a towel, you can't bring chairs, you can't plop down. You can go in the water, but you just gotta basically keep moving. You treat it literally like a walk in a park. Yeah. And this is not the case at all. This beach seems fully open and back to normal.
That's probably the most crowded that beach has been in decades. I know.
Yeah, because everyone's stir crazy. It didn't seem like there's any restrictions, and so I think. See, that's I guess my point is this is way worse. It's like we focus on the wrong things, it seems like, and the attention it's very distracting when we call something horrible. Meanwhile, there's other stuff going on that doesn't get a lot of attention.
Yeah, I don't know. This one's strange to me. So I don't even know what else to say about it.
It's just, to me, it's just bullshit. The way things are reported and the way things are presented to people is absolute bullshit. So we're just trying to do our little bit to enlighten everyone, right?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Okay. Now, Zach, the Washington Free Beacon came out with a story a couple days ago saying, man who died ingesting fish tank cleaner remembered as intelligent, level-headed engineer. As in death, he has become famous as a cautionary tale about the risks of mindlessly following the armchair medical advice of President Donald Trump, we just heard from earlier.
Oh, yeah, he's a real Einstein.
But friends of 60-year-old Gary Linnaeus, the Arizona man who passed away last month from drinking a fish tank cleaner that contained an ingredient, chloroquine phosphate, that Trump had touted as a possible coronavirus cure, said they're still struggling to understand what drove an engineer with an extensive science background to do something so wildly out of character. This is a fascinating story to just read through. It's about I don't know, about 2,000 words. It is incredible. I think this was drawing some comparisons to Carol Baskin of Tiger King fame, because this woman seems batshit, and it's really not. I mean, this article doesn't walk that line of going there, but I'm going to go there. I mean, it's possible that this crazy woman poisoned her husband. I don't think it's that ridiculous to think. This is crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe he did. Maybe this guy just is getting into that cult mentality of just believing everything that Donald Trump is saying, or everything he thinks Donald Trump is saying. But it is fun. It is more fun to believe that it's a Tiger King situation. You got that damn Carol Baskins over here.
So the story is the husband was out. Well, she's free and clear, although she's gotten a lot of heat. Everyone hates her now, so that's nothing wrong with that. So this guy was he hurt his leg while riding his new dirt bike, and the wife says he didn't want to tell her that he was hurt because I guess she didn't want him to ride a dirt bike. So it was just a kind of a spur of the moment thing. She says she grabbed the fish tank cleaner. The couple ingested a teaspoon and some soda each, which is, I guess, 4 times the lethal limit. And it was common, apparently, for the wife to make a cocktail of vitamins for Gary. Now, that seems kind of weird and strange. But this, that's when you hear about this guy and his background, he was a retired mechanical engineer for John Deere, and his friend is quoted as saying, I really can't see a scenario where Gary would say, yes, please, I'd love to drink some of that koi fish tank cleaner. Now, people have just like, well, I guess this isn't new because anytime the president says something, someone will glom on and try to blame him. So these stories do kind of go together. And there's a quote here that's saying that the president's medical advice is, quote, lethal. He has blood on his hands and should be tried for the Hague for crimes against humanity. Because he was touting this hydrochloroquine drug as a possible treatment. And then here we go. And we all remember this story because this woman basically blamed Trump for her husband's death.
Yeah, even though he never actually said, he didn't actually go out full out and say, like, go ahead and drink this shit. You know what I mean?
Well, there's two things. There's a drug which contains one ingredient, and then there's a fish tank cleaner which contains a similar ingredient. The president didn't say go eat fish tank cleaner.
Yeah. You would think that this guy would have some goddamn common sense.
Well, so that's,
if he was such a smart guy.
That's the thing, right? Now says, now here's the meat of this thing, is like, here's another friend saying, I would like people to know that Gary was not the fool that some of the media stories and comments are depicting him to be, said, and I really don't think Gary knew what he was taking. Now, apparently he goes on, he met his wife, Wanda, in the year 2000. She was also working at John Deere. And when the reporter here interviewed his friends, they would say Wanda would constantly berate Gary in public. Everyone was embarrassed for him, but he didn't outwardly seem to care much. In our opinion, this marriage was one-sided as it possibly could be. I guess he worshipped her, and she would always, she would denigrate him. She would get mad. It says she broke his aircraft model collection. She broke a monitor because he updated Windows. Since they called the police for a domestic disturbance, who said that she hit him, and then it went on to say that Wanda went on long-term disability after developing debilitating and mental physical health problems after being fired from John Deere, and then she sued them for PTSD. So I think she was a little not quite there.
I don't know why I'm having flashbacks to like Jan and Michael's relationship on The Office. That's like what I'm thinking about right now. All right, so here's what we got. Either she killed him, he killed himself on purpose, right? Or he killed himself on accident.
Yeah.
Now, if he killed himself on accident, did he do it because he genuinely believed in what Trump was saying? And if so, why did someone that smart believe that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I wonder if it's going towards like this kind of like cult mentality where like people that get like, if that's where like this is heading with like Trump's presidency, you know what I mean? Like I'm watching Waco right now on Netflix, if anyone's watching that. And it's like you get all these smart people that are in this compound with David Koresh, like a Harvard lawyer, and like this guy that was a professor of theology and all. It's like, how do people this smart get caught up into these situations that are so fucking stupid? You know what I mean?
Well, that is a good point. And you don't know. It doesn't say here. So they said they saw. Okay, Wanda said she and her husband had seen the President Trump praise a drug called chloroquine in the news, citing preliminary studies that it could be promising. And she remembered purchasing a jar of chloroquine phosphate years before to clean the fish tank. So the story is she walked into wherever it was kept, put a couple of teaspoons, and said, "Let's both have a drink." And she says they both drank it. And I don't know. I mean, it doesn't sound like it doesn't say whether he's a Trump supporter or not. Clearly she's not, because she's blaming him for killing her husband. But let me ask you this. Do you believe she drank it as well? How about that?
Why wouldn't she be sick?
Right. It's a poison.
You know? Why wouldn't she be sick at all? Why did it hurt him so bad that he died from it? And she's just like, oh, I'm fine.
Yeah. Now, we don't know anything about him really other than what some of his friends have said. It's possible that because we know that he didn't. The only possibility it could be is he drank it knowing what it was, thinking it would help. Or he drank something he didn't know what was inside of it. Because in no scenario did he get it himself, in other words. So he was either on board or didn't know.
I don't know. We need a true crime documentary about this story. We need to be boots on the ground to investigate this further.
I mean, would you say that this warrants further investigation, possibly by the police? Do you think, or is this all blown out of proportion?
It just seems fishy.
Does seem fishy.
I don't know. I'm not a criminal investigator, so I can't say. I don't know if this is something that needs to involve taxpayer dollars spent in time to have the government look into this, but
it's just fodder for us. But it's like, to your point though, doesn't seem like a rational person would do this, and he seemed rational, and she doesn't, and maybe that's really what's going on here.
Yeah,
crazy. Well, as this story develops, we will be sure to bring all of you updated details to this story. I mean, wouldn't it be funny, in a month or now, she gets arrested for his murder?
Oh my God, I know.
We covered it first.
It's like 2021. It's like the new Netflix documentary.
Now, Zach, you found a bit. We like to hit on fear mongering in the news, and there's one of these going around because what we heard from the beginning is young people, it's less of risk for if you get sick, it's not going to be that bad. This is mostly a problem for older people, but the news media is there to make sure that we're very much afraid of this virus. It's not enough that we have nightmares of all this weird stuff happening, but now we need to worry about sudden strokes for those in their 30s and 40s, Zach. You really need to keep your eye out on whether or not you're going to get a stroke, right? What do you do? I don't know.
Yeah, this article says little or no symptoms. If you have COVID-19, there's a risk of stroke, is what they're saying. But you could have no COVID-19 symptoms. Like they've always said, you could have the disease and not show any symptoms. But now they're saying, like, if you're one of those people, you could still have a stroke. So it's like you need to watch out for stroke symptoms. And it's like, what the hell are we supposed to do now? Because now they're saying you're not supposed to go to the hospital unless you're showing really bad symptoms.
Right.
So it's like, at this point, it's like, what the hell are we just supposed to do? Just wait around till we have a stroke and then it's too late? I think there was a quote in this article from one of the doctors or professors that was saying, like, it's something to do with our immune system where, like, our body's way of, like, fighting COVID-19 is actually, like, hurting us. It's like, what the hell are we supposed to do with that?
I can't tell my body to stop doing, And I think this is just completely blown out of proportion just to terrify us. Because, like, I mean, what are you supposed? I'm just going to drop dead now? I don't know. I might, I could be asymptomatic of COVID. I could have it, and then I'm just going to have a severe stroke and die. Great. So I can literally do nothing about it. But, like, here, so there are only, quote, a few dozen of cases here, and but it says it's just an anomaly between the ages of 33 and 49. However, the median age for strokes is 74. So you get a few dozen clusters of young people. Maybe we don't know anything of their background. Were they otherwise unhealthy? Did they have some other complication? There's no information given here other than just be afraid of the imminent stroke.
Just the headline alone, word for word, the headline: young and middle-aged people barely sick with COVID-19 are dying of strokes.
Great.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much for that. Doctors sound alarm about patients in their 30s and 40s left debilitated or dead. Some didn't even know they were infected.
Great.
Again, it's like, what are we supposed to do with this information?
And we wonder why. Why are we having these nightmares? Why are we going out of our minds? Why are we so stressed out about the world? It's because of stories like this, needlessly making us sad. Scaring us. This is an absolute pile of bullshit, Zach.
Fear-mongering.
Unbelievable.
Fear-mongering bullshit.
So, Zach, while beaches were opening in Newport Beach, there's something else going on in California. People are reclaiming their public space. We saw that famous skate park. I believe it's in Venice.
Yeah.
Where the California officials took that because people were not distancing and going home, so they filled it up with sand, and somebody found a clever solution to that problem, didn't they? Or at least to adapt.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, let's first, like, it's bullshit that they even went to that the lengths of, like, filling the skate park with sand in the first place.
Yeah, ridiculous.
That to me seems like a pretty permanent way to shut down a skate park. How are you going to get rid of all that? One, the amount of money that that came out of taxpayer dollars to fill in that damn park with sand is bullshit. You know, think about how much money could have gone to like helping, you know, people in need, you know, without having to fill a park with fucking sand. But then it's like, it's almost like going to the point where it's like these local governments are using like this situation to just like eliminate these bad apples that they think of. You know, they're like, if you think of like a skate park, like think of how the media like portrays people that are skateboarders, you know, as like young punks and things like that.
Yeah, troublemakers.
Yeah, exactly. You know, are they filling in basketball courts with sand? No. You know, there's like 100 yards away from me is the local high school, right? And they got a track and field and the football field. All that's locked down. You can't get on the field. Kids hop the fence every day to go down there. You aren't filling the fucking football field next to me with sand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know. Well, they're going to come and dig it all up or something.
Yeah, they're not. And then how much money are they going to have to spend to dig out the damn park? You know, or you know what I mean? And it's
yeah, how do you get all that sand out?
Yeah, but people
at what cost?
Yeah, but people are fighting the man on this because I guess they didn't fill it in completely because now dirt bikers are showing up.
I love this.
Yeah, the dirt bikers are showing up because they're sticking it to the man and they're giving him a big FU.
This is perfect. I think I agree with you here. I think these city officials, they're trying the things that they didn't like that and are now using that opportunity to like assert their power. And skateboarders are punks. Maybe I'm sure. I mean, I'm not a skateboarder, but I'm sure like doing that would there is a risk of injury. So I don't know. Maybe they're worried about liability if some kid cracks his head on the skate park, if they could sue the city or something. I don't know. But whatever, you know, it's been there forever. It's iconic. It just you got to leave a pressure release valve for people because we got stories scaring us. We're going to die of a stroke. We're all having nightmares. Let me at least go skateboard. And I'm happy. I'm really kind of proud to see these kids come out here and just kind of give the middle finger to everybody with their dirt bikes, adapting to the situation. Yeah.
You know, if there was, I'm sure there's a local basketball court somewhere near there. They're not filling that in with sand. You know what I mean? It's just... No. It just baffles me the amount of bullshit that's going on here.
Park near me, they took the baskets down. It's just a pole.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that. So there's also a tennis court near my house, and people are there playing tennis like every day. I saw the funniest shit like a day ago. Me and my wife were walking my dog at the local high school, and on the baseball fields, there was a guy out there with a set of golf clubs, like he was at the driving range, just hitting golf balls. It was the funniest shit I've ever seen.
Oh, that is hilarious. See, we're all making do with what we got here.
Yeah.
All right, Zach. Let's get to our story number 9 here. An extreme method of getting the day off. Florida man called in a bomb threat to get off work. Now, this is really going pretty far because I've got a really good excuse to get out of work if I need to, which is to say I'm not feeling good. I'm feeling a little feverish. They're not going to question you. You don't have to call in a bomb threat anymore. We're in a new world. I mean, at least take the opportunities we've got if you don't want to go to work.
I want to know what went through his process that thought that was a good idea.
Well, he said he was having a bad day and just didn't want to work. Well, he's going to get his wish because he's going to have many days off, I think, now. He won't have to worry about going into work.
I mean, the whole bullshit here is like, there's so many people in the not only the country but in the world right now that are out of work, furloughed, that wish they had a job, and this guy's like, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to call in a bomb threat, and you know it's bullshit, man. Yeah, no,
I like your take better. My take was be more creative in getting out of work. Your take is be grateful for the job you have. So I think yours is a lot better than mine. That's really well put. Oh, there's 26 million people laid off, out of work, would die to have a job. Then they will not call. Well, many of them probably will not call in a bomb threat. So let them have the job. Goodness gracious.
That'd be some shit if someone unemployed got a job and then they called them a bomb threat like on their first day.
All right, Zach.
I don't know. Last week we talked about you could potentially make more on unemployment. Maybe this guy will make more than what he's getting paid. So he.
Does it count if you're in jail?
What?
Does it count if you're in jail? Do you still get your unemployment checks? I don't know.
Oh, probably not. I guess I didn't think about that.
All right, Zach, let's hit our final story of the day, the one everyone's been waiting for. This mystery surrounding North Korean leader Kim Jong-Un. Is he dead? The guy disappeared. People really like him. They're wondering why he hadn't been coming out. That's not true. Maybe the one good thing happening with this pandemic is it might get a bastard like Kim Jong-un.
I would love to be like on the ground, or at least see like what the news, like the North Korea or the Korean like news and propaganda is they're saying out to all of their citizens about what's going on with him.
Oh, I'll tell you, they're not saying anything. I think actually they're saying he's like doing things. He's helping children. He's out there. No photos or anything. The other thing too, I mean, the country is so well run. They're so good that I don't even think they have any coronavirus infections or deaths. That's how good North Korea is.
Sounds like a wonderful place to live, actually. Now I'm thinking about it. I mean, I saw a meme the other day that was like, it was a picture from Weekend at Bernie's, and they photoshopped Kim Jong like in between the two guys, and that's like what that country's going to be like. He'll be dead, and they'll be propping him up between two people. Like, look at our.
You got to put that up here for everybody watching.
Here's our fearless leader.
So he's disappeared. Now there's a number of theories going on. One was I heard a botched heart surgery. Another one was a stroke. Maybe that wasn't fear mongering. Earlier. And some stories he's been eating himself into an early grave, I guess, because who's going to tell him he can't have that second helping of mashed potatoes? He'll just shoot you. So, Gordon, I don't know if you're familiar with Gordon Chang. He's a China expert. He's a guy that I've interviewed before. He said that Kim Jong-un was wounded during a missile test. That something is wrong. Now, there's reports from the South Korean government says he's fine. That came out yesterday. Other people, some American journalists were tweeting that he was brain dead. And the stories, we still haven't seen him yet. Now, just to throw a complete monkey wrench into everything, the president yesterday said this. I know how he's doing, Mr. Trump said, adding, you'll probably be hearing in the not too distant future. So more great comments from the president of the United States.
Oh yeah. I just picture like Trump sitting in his Oval office and like having like a little, like his cell phone ring, and like it'd be like Kim Jong-un on the other line, just like picking up like, hey man, how you doing? You know what I mean? What's the matter? Now, you got diarrhea?
I believe that he's still alive, right? These comments? In some state. Because maybe just again, I do know how he's doing. Well, I guess he could potentially be dead, but you'll probably be hearing in the not too distant future. Yeah. So he clearly knows something that he's not telling us.
Yeah. Well, or maybe he's like almost dead and just not dead yet. I don't know.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't know, but no one knows.
Well, I'd like to get your take. What do you think is going on?
It's got to be serious, because like he is the type of leader that he is going to like be in front of the camera as much as possible. You know what I mean? If he was in any shape or form that he could be able to be in front of the camera, he absolutely would. Yeah.
No, I agree. Absolutely. Because he doesn't want, because that country is basically on its own. They've been quarantined far longer than us.
Oh, yeah.
They've been on coronavirus lockdown for like 50 years or something. Foreign Policy, the magazine gives 3 scenarios that Kim reappears in full control. Maybe it was just a temporary thing, and he's going to be out of the woods and show up and bless everyone. Scenario 2, Kim remains unseen and potentially incapacitated for longer. I'd be curious how long they could keep that up. Or scenario 3, Kim is dead or incapable of governing. Now, I don't know if you saw this on Twitter, Zach, but the next in line would be Kim Jong-un's sister, who was Twitter was essentially standing for her. They were saying how she's going to be basically praising her for her no-nonsense look and saying she's going to be tough or something. It's really bizarre what was going on there on Twitter. That, praising her for being a strong female leader potentially. It's really weird. Have you seen this?
No, I have not.
Okay. Probably better for not seeing it.
Yeah, we need to send in James Franco and Seth Rogen to go in there and find out what's going on, man, like that movie, The Interview.
All right, so let's end this with a prediction on Kim Jong-un. Live, dead, sick, what?
I'm going to go dead.
Oh, wow. So you think he's a goner?
Yeah, I think he's gone.
All right, I'm going to say incapacitated in some way. Okay. I think he's So I'm just splitting the difference here. I think he's sick and probably will have to give up, and probably will not be able to rule in the future. So I think we're basically going to agree with that. Maybe we're hopeful here that his reign is over. Although you don't know what's coming next. I mean, he took over for his dad. And he doesn't seem to be any better.
Yeah, I mean, something's fishy is going on with him. The question is, like, what is it that happened?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. That's the real mystery here. He's incapacitated, dead, deathbed, sick. I don't know what it is, but the real question is, what is it? And how did it happen? Failed missile launch, overeat. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, what was it? What happened?
That's a wide variety of things. A missile test, a stroke, a heart attack. Just who knows what. Coronavirus, of course, is one of the theories.
Well, no, because they don't have coronavirus.
That's right. Yeah,
so
they
couldn't be that.
What was I thinking?
Yeah.
All right, Zach. Well, that is just about all of the bullshit I can handle for one day. I'd love to know what all of you watching thought about the episode. If you enjoyed it, I'd love to hit the like button. And, of course, please subscribe if you're enjoying this content. We're going to be, like I said at the top, we are connoisseurs of bullshit, Zach, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
And, of course, check us. You can also check out more stuff like the topics that we talked about today at informedamerican.com. For Zach, I am Dave, and I've had enough of this BS.
You've been listening to the BS Podcast with Dave and Zach, part of the Informed American Radio Network. Please like and subscribe today in order to get fresh new weekly episodes. Please send us your BS stories to info@informedamerican.com. The world is hard enough, and now we gotta deal with this bullshit.